this one is very interesting. This one is being handled. If you enjoyed the previous session on drafting a winning personal statement, please indicate in the comment section, because I learned a lot. My book is filled up. Like, I've written a whole lot. I wonder if you can see. Look at that. I learned a lot from it, and I've been taking lots of notes. So indicate in the comment section. Tell our speakers that they did an awesome job. You learned a lot. Just let them feel good, and also write out some of the things you learned. And please don't forget to share this link with your family, your friends, your community. Let them know. So I'll be going next to our next session. Now, our next session is another interesting one. This one will be handled by Madam Oladoyin. I'm sure we heard her during the first panel session. She spoke extensively to us also on what it's like, studying in the United States, working in the United States, and all of that. And she'll be handling this session for us. So please make her feel welcome as she handles the session where she'll be talking to us about crafting a CV that gets noticed. Is there someone here who wants to craft a CV that gets noticed? Let me know in the comment section. Let me see your thumbs up. Let me see your applause. Because everyone wants a CV that gets noticed. What use is a CV that no one is seeing? I love that. Olaka says, yeah. Because of what use it is when you have a CV and you're sending it and you're not getting any conversions. It's just like, am I talking to the thin air? But when you get a CV that once people see it, it's like, this is it. That's what we want. And that's what this session is all about. So please join me as I make welcome Madam Oladoyin Taiwo. She'll be taking this session on drafting a CV that gets noticed. So please make her feel welcome. Over to you, ma'am.
Is my mic unmuted now?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Hello, and would I say it's good to be back? Because I was just going to take a nap and I was thinking the timing that before my next session, because my head was actually I woke up with a headache.
But I'm so sorry.
That's fine. But it's fine. I guess that's what happens when you try to wake up at 3 a.m. when you don't need to. So anyways, I'm glad to be back, and I will talk about most of these things. I always base it on my experience. I'm a corporate communications practitioner. So half of the time I'm always talking about, I always even force my former classmates to do their LinkedIn up to make it look like ready for work and all of that. So this is right up there in my alley for me to share just generally. I know that there are experiences that majority of us would have experienced in our job search, whether in Nigeria, whether in the UK, whether in Canada, or whether in the US, or potentially there's always something that stands you out from other people. So in crafting your CV, I will just go through it right quickly and just go about I'm not sure, maybe I should. Would you want me to share my screen? I don't know if you guys can still hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
We can hear you. Please share your screen.
Alrighty. So I'll just run through this real quick. I hope I have the right one that I intend to share. So I'll just run it real quick. And so the first thing that I would say for anything, any resume, any CV, it's called resume in the US where I'm based, and it's called CV in like the UK and Nigeria. So I'll say for every CV or any resume that you intend to write, always ensure that you are making it as a marketing tool. I'm a marketing professional. I'm a marketing communications professional. So I always tie this back to the profession that I do. And if you think of it, every time you have to take your CV somewhere, the thing that distinguishes you from the person they pick above you is always what you're selling proposition is the value that you bring to the table. So the first thing when you're trying to write your CV should always be make it a personal marketing tool. You are not selling somebody else. You are not trying to explain to people about other people's achievements. It's about what you've done. It's about the value that you bring to the role that you're trying to get. So always have that at the back of your mind when you're there's so many tools outside, but what differentiates your resume from another person's own is your own personal experiences, the value that you bring to the table, and what you can add to the organization's objectives. So it's very important that you focus on that when you're trying to put your resume together. It should always highlight your unique value proposition to potential employers. So I'll use my own as an example. I know that when I moved back to the US in 2023, that people had said, oh, the market was stiff, the market, nobody was getting jobs, people are not. But what I did in my case when I wanted to market to the potential employer that I currently work with was I took all of the transferable skills that I had and I put them into like every time I always send out my resume, I always send out like a personal, like a cover letter with it. And I find the recruiters who are recruiting for this. I research more to find them online and send them an email for me to be able to also speak further about whatever it is that I already have in my resume. So you must highlight what makes you unique. So what I always do is always share the experiences that I have and see how it translates to the current CV that or the role that I'm applying for. That's just based on my own experience. And half of the time, I know that it works and it gets me into landing interviews that whether I got through to maybe I took the offer or I didn't, that's now another case. But at least my CVs that I've used have gotten me into the door and provided solutions for me to be able to at least get to the first stage of the interview. So tailor your CV to the job. Don't just send a random CV. What I see that a lot of people do is you're applying for a role, a job title that has a different role, but you're applying with just one resume and you think that it will do. It won't, because half of the time it doesn't pass through the channel that they use in screening out to be sure for keywords and all of those things when they're trying to find. So use the job description as your guide whenever. So that means that every time you have to apply for a new role, if it's not in line with what you currently do, because for most of us back home, the roles that we currently do, they are not exactly called those roles when we want to move or transition abroad. So it's very important for you to also do your research and see how that applies and how you can change that. So use the job description always as your guide, customize your skills and achievements to match the employee's needs. So if the employee says that they need somebody that is self-motivated, or they need a certain skill that you know you have. Maybe you currently do not use it at your current place of work, but you have it as a certification that you probably have forgotten. So in my own case now, I always say it depends on what the employer is looking for. I have a certification in project management. I have a certification in data analytics. So it depends on what you want. And I always just tie it back to my marketing communications role on the value that I can bring to the table. But I don't use the blank CV to apply for every role that I see. It depends on what they are looking for, and that is what the skills that I tailor into to meet those employees' needs per time that I always do. Avoid generic submissions. Those are some things that these people just, like someone said, I think on the first panel that we were on together, that people always send like the regular generic thing to people when they're writing their personal statements, and it doesn't tell any story. It doesn't bring you closer to somebody relating with you. So ensure that you avoid those generic things and always start with a strong personal statement. A compelling summary is at the top of your CV, that part that just gives you like, maybe make it short and sweet. Just always say things that grabs attention. Maybe it's your year of experience that you want to use to grab the attention, or maybe you say, I'm a professional that has done $5 million in terms of revenue for an organization. You need to stop any HR person to look at, oh, okay, how did you do it? Or I've brought a certain amount or percentage of increase to my organization or something. So make it short, simple, and tied to whatever that employee's needs are when you're writing that. Also, make it engaging and relevant to that role that you're applying to. That cannot be overemphasized. But things that I always see that people make mistakes also on their resumes, that they always write their responsibilities. Do not focus on responsibilities. Always focus on the result that you brought to the organization. So an example, maybe you increase 20% of the revenue generated in the organization because of the solution that you brought based on what the experience that you brought to the team. Or maybe you managed a team of 15, and because of that, you were able to reduce cost for the organization because of the effective team collaboration that your team brought together. So those are things that you need to highlight. Don't just say, I was in charge of, I managed, no, I was responsible for, or there's a lot of responsible for moving one page to another, or moving one thing from one desk to another that we always see in people's resumes. So it's something that you don't want to be a part of. You want to highlight your own results more than the responsibilities that you've been given per your job title. So put it and tie your achievements and your results to it. Those are quantifiable, and those are the things that people are looking for in resumes. Everybody can have responsibilities, but what value do you bring to the table? As I've talked about value so many times. So that's what people are looking for. Optimize your CV design, keep it clean. It's surprising. So my friend is based in Germany, and she said that for you to apply for a job in Germany, you have to have your picture on the resume or on your CV, and that doesn't apply in the US. That doesn't apply also in Nigeria. I think some people use their pictures. Nigeria is here. There is neither here nor there. But in the case of the US, people cannot attach their photos or their headshots to a resume. It will not even go through the system. You probably would just say, oh, they're not calling you back. I don't know if it applies to the UK also, but that is something that you always want to research what works in the environment where you're based in, and follow that to optimize your CV design when you're doing it. Use constant formatting. Be clear about your headings, where your name is, where your LinkedIn optimization, your LinkedIn hyperlink is, where your contact is. That's the phone number and the email address. Never, ever, ever put your full address on a resume. Just maybe you can just put that you are based in, if you're based in Kent, United States, just put it there. That's fine. If you're based in, I'm based in Chicago, Illinois, so I'll just put Chicago, Illinois there. That's good enough for the person to know. They don't need to know where the exact your POB, your all of the places where you are based. It's not necessary for you to put that in your resume. So a visual appealing CV also stands out of the pile to people. Yesterday night, I sat down and I was in I think it was something around 9 p.m. and a recruiter had sent me an email. That's 9 p.m. my time. People should be sleeping. People have off work hours. Sent me, oh, I read your application and we're very impressed. So we'd like you to call you for an interview. So those kind of things are things that, you know how many people are searching for a job out there. But once you have something that stands you out, people would surely come to you and call you for those follow-up. Focus on keywords and ATS. Include keywords in your job description. Avoid all these jargons that people write around, and I did this, I did that, I did not do this, that things that do not concern that. I still find it strange to see that in this age and time, some people still put religion, some people still put like age, or put single or married on their resume. Those things do not belong to they don't belong to your CV. They do not belong to your resume, especially in a country that like the US, where you can be discriminated against, although they write it there that you cannot. But because of your skin color, people can decide not to hire you. Because you have an accent, people can decide you don't know the job because of that. So those kind of things are things that you want to remove off your resume, and do not put anything of, oh, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. Ensure that whatever it is that you're doing actually is concise and is targeted towards whatever it is that you're looking for. Ensure that your CV passes the applicant tracking system. That's the ATS system. It's a quite popular one that a lot of people use in screening down the kind of resumes that they are looking for. So showcase relevant skills all of the time. Always highlight both your hard and soft skills. So sometimes it might be your hard skills that those employers are looking for. Sometimes it might just be your soft skills that the employers are looking for. The higher you grow in the rank of your qualification, the different needs of organizations from you, or they would demand from you, would be different. If you're just starting out, everybody would need your art skills. But if the more you grow, you're growing into the C-suite, you're going into all of that, people are now looking for your soft skills. They are no longer looking for, oh, you know how to do it. Like every other person knows how to do it. But now people are looking for ways that they can actually come together for them to be able to see how your soft skills, your communication skills, your leadership skills, your negotiation skills, and all of that, how we can help them to transform their organization. So those are things that people continue to look for. Please let me know when my time is up, because we can go on and on and on. So I'll just, your
Okay.
professional, okay?
No, I'll let you know.
All right. Your professional experience also matters, because I can see that Mr. Dewale is already here. I was thinking he was going to boot me out for his own session. So your professional experience also matters a lot. List those experiences, list them in the chronological order. Always ensure that you put the one that is the most recent as your first. Don't put the one that you've done since 1960 as the first, because that might not be relevant in this world where we have advanced in different things and different areas in different professions. So use action verbs. I implemented, I designed, I streamlined, not what's that? There's some things that it's going off the top of my head now that I see that people write on resumes, in charge of all those kind of things. Make it something that is the verb that is an action word. That's what you should have there, not what you currently do, because those only speak to your responsibilities but do not speak to your achievements. So your education and your certifications. I'm always learning, like I'm a constant lifelong learner. So education, certifications, whether relevant now, whether relevant in the future, are things that I would always encourage people. I told one of my mentees, I said, people that go to war, they don't start practicing to win a war at the battlefield. They always practice right before or way before they go for those kind of things. Like an Olympian, anybody who has ever won something or a medal at an Olympics competition has always had time of practice. So it's very important that when you're while you're building your education, your certifications, we're very good at that as Nigerians. So it's something that we always do. So just keep it relevant. Don't just gather for gathering's sake. Ensure that it tells a story and helps you build into what you're looking for. If recent or relevant to the role, emphasize it when you're always applying. Then always proofread and get feedback. Ensure that you don't just submit it. There are a lot of tools that can actually help you with proofreading. I use Grammarly Premium because I work in communications. I've used Grammarly Premium, I think, since 2000 and God knows when. It's been a long time that I've been using it because I cannot trust that my brain saw something that it probably missed. So most of the time, I always just take it through again to proofread it. From my academics, from my academic work, I always take it through. From my work, even at my corporate job, I always take it through. Just ensure that you always proofread. Ask a mentor if you cannot use Grammarly Premium. Even Grammarly Basic also helps you with that. I was using that back in Nigeria, and it was the free one actually works fine. So you can ask a mentor, a friend, a coach, or anybody at all to help you review it. Always keep it short, keep it sweet, and no max of 2 pages. Nobody wants to know what you've done with 5 pages. Keep it as short as that every time that you want to. That means it's your most relevant experience that you want to share. include your own professional church and everything that you do in crafting a CV that gets noticed isn't just about listing those experiences, it's about telling your professional story in a way that aligns with what the employer is looking for. Your CV is your first handshake with a professional employer, and so you must make it count. I hope with this few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that you need a CV that stands out, a resume that stands out and helps you get that job on time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Mrs. Oladoyin, for sharing with us and for giving us all of this insight on what it is to draft a CV that gets noticed. I have picked a lot of things from it. I mean, there are many times you work on a CV and you just think, hey, this is fine. But with everything you've said, I think that sometimes what you might be doing and thinking that is the best thing might just appear as jargon because you're not making use of keywords. It's not even visually appealing because personally I'm very moved by visuals. So I think that if I'm that kind of person, if I'm seeing a CV as well that is not visually appealing, if I was the hiring manager, if I was in the hiring team, I would definitely not even look twice at that CV. So it's important that you highlighted that. So thank you so much for that. Also, you also made mention of how it's important to highlight the most relevant experiences because I think we make that mistake a lot where because of the way our CVs are already written, like from the first set of experiences, it's just always that way. And then maybe people don't have that time to be looking and seeing maybe one experience that is not relevant. So thank you for highlighting that for us. Also, the use of action words as important. Like I implemented this, I implemented that because I know that many times we tend to say things like, "Oh, I'm in charge of," "Oh, I'm doing this," but like it's not showing the action in it. So, really, thank you for this very insightful session. I'm going to ask a question because I let me see if we have questions in the comment section before we get to the questions. Let me ask my own question because I know that it will also mirror some of the questions that some of our participants have. You had mentioned how important it is to maybe how unnecessary it is to write your precise address. Like you could just use maybe, for instance, Yaba Lagos or Lekki Lagos or that type of thing. Is that what you meant when you said do not make use of your full address?
Yes, so it's okay to write Yaba Lagos, Ikeja Lagos, Surulere Lagos, but please don't write number 12. Ajanle Koko streets, something bus stop. Don't put because there are different people out there that you don't want to, as even in the advanced world, you also don't want to put although people can research you, find those addresses online, but don't be the one to put yourself like in danger for those kind of things.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Also, is it important to put age in the CV?
Nobody cares to know your age as long as you can do the job.
Okay.
Because that thing of people putting age, so there's this thing that they call ageism, where people already in their mind, they're like, okay, this person is too old for this role. They haven't even called you, they haven't spoken to you, but they have made a decision based on because they saw your age. A lot of people these days are actually removing the years they finished from school from LinkedIn because, especially if you're abroad, like just remove it because they're already in their mind, they're already saying, oh, this person is a millennial. The person probably is a dinosaur and the person is going to age out soon. As young as you think you are as a millennial, they already think you're old. Or this person is a Gen Z. These Gen Z people, they always just come to the workplace to come and destroy everything. So you don't want them to like have an idea. Just keep them guessing in terms of, so that's how most in the recent world of like mapping out your LinkedIn optimization or your CV is about. Just remove that age. I know that I filled an application recently.
Is that for I'm sorry, is that for the secondary school or you mean even university?
Like start with anything that has a year to it. Just remove it.
Okay.
Because by the time I see the year you finished from secondary school, I can guess your age. If I see when you finished from university, I can guess your age. You should be between this age to this age. I filled an application recently, and that they were asking, oh, that are you below 40? And I'm like, that's discriminative for you to be asking if I'm above or beyond anything. I just stopped that application and just went, this one's don't stress me. Although I'm not above 40, but I just found it really silly that you're asking for. So it's the same way that you don't want to put your age on like a resume for somebody, or some people can even tell you, oh, because you're single, we're not giving you this role. Or some people say because you're married, you have children, this will be disturbing you from achieving what they want you to do. So remove anything that can make them give you like a bias. Unfortunately, you can't change the names your parents have given you. So although some people become Ben Williams when they get to the US, and maybe their name is Kayode, Ademola, or something from wherever they come from. So all those kind of things are things that you might just want to also remove so that you don't lower your chances of, but your name is your name. Me, I always make them pronounce my name fully. Don't call me Ola, I'm Oladoyin. Thank you. And that's it.
Thank you very much, Madam Oladoyin. Thank you so, so much. That was very, very informative. Thank you also for your time.